Hi everyone and welcome to this lesson on non-right angled triangles. We're going to specifically look at the cosine rule. This is the third lesson in this series on Unit 43. So we've looked at the graphs of sine and cosine and tangent. We've looked at the sine rule. Now we're going to look at the cosine rule. Again, it falls into that kind of category of having a formula to use. It's not particularly difficult once you've learnt the formula. It's a case of substituting numbers in and then using the formula to be able to work out problems in the context of non-right angled triangles. Okay, let's have a look, see how it works. So in terms of how this is going to work, just like with the sine rule, we've got to label up our triangles properly. It's really, really important. Like, this is the most important bit. Irrespective of what the letters are on the question, make sure that you set it up with these opposites. So you need the little a on the opposite side from where your big A angle is, and little b on the opposite side from where your big B angle is, and so on. Now this time we are going to use all three bits of information, and we're going to have two separate formulas to learn, both for the cosine rule. If I'm perfectly honest with you, I only ever learn this one, and I tend to substitute my numbers into here. But if you're finding an angle and you're good at remembering formulas, this is a perfectly good one to remember as well for finding an angle. Over time, when you've done enough of these, you will find a way that's perfect for you. So we've got a squared is b squared plus c squared. So that feels quite a lot like Pythagoras. And then we've got this minus 2bc cos a. Remember, cos of the angle. So we're going to use this when we've got an enclosed angle. So if you can kind of see here, if we're working at this length here, a, then we can say, as long as I've got the length b, I've got the length c, and we've got the angle in between the two of them, we can work out what this length is. Be really careful though that the formula finds a squared, not a, so you're going to have to do a bit of square rooting as well. Okay, let's see if we can have a little bit more of a detailed look. So what we're going to do with this is we're going to use this formula to find missing sides or missing angles of non-right angled triangles, a bit like the sine rule. So if you've not done so already, I'd definitely pause the video at this point, jot these two things down, draw your picture, and then we'll do a couple of examples. Okay, so the length of the side marked A, and give your answer correct to three significant figures. So we're going to find this. Notice, like I said on the last slide, that we've got these two sides and we've got the angle in between them. This is really important. We need it to be in this form to be able to use the cosine rule. Otherwise, we might have to do something else first. And again, when we get really good at this, we might find that we have to do some combinations of sine rule first and cosine rule, or cosine rule first, then sine rule, or you might have to remember the facts about angles in a triangle adding up to 180 degrees. Now, this is all based on non-right angled triangles, so don't just do Pythagoras on it because that ain't going to work. Okay, let's have a look, see what's going to go on then. So we've got A that we're trying to find out. So the first thing we write down is our formula, which is a squared equals b squared plus c squared minus 2bc cos a. Now you might notice that these two haven't got labels on them. We've not decided which one's going to be A and which one's going to be C and which one's going to be B. The most important thing is you've got A on the opposite side of your angle A. So that's going to be the most important thing. Remember, we're doing a squared is b squared plus c squared minus 2bc cos a. Now, all of these, you can just type this in your calculator. And remember, this is going to give us a squared. We want a, so that means the square root of everything. And again, if you get confident, you can put square root, and you can do all this in one go, and you will get an answer. So over time, I think the important thing is here is that the actual skills that you're using are not particularly difficult. You know, we're substituting numbers into a formula. But I know when we've done this before, we've got a little bit unstuck about making sure we're typing things into our calculators properly. So take extra care, make sure that you're getting it right, you're checking your answers, and once you get to that point, you're going to be fine. If you're getting weird answers or something that's not quite right, get in touch, ask me, and I'll see if I can fix it for you. Okay, Second example then. So we've done one example where we were looking at finding a missing side. We're going to do an example now where we're finding a missing angle. So we start out with our rule. So we've got cos A. And again, notice that A is going to be opposite here. So you've got B squared plus C squared minus A squared over 2BC. Okay, so again, write out your formula first, substitute your numbers in. This is all going to give you a number. You can type that in your calculator, you're going to get a number. Remember that this is cos A. So if you want just A, we need to undo the cos. So we're going to do cos to the minus 1 of all of this. It might be easier if you want to type it all in your calculator in one go. Make sure you put big brackets around all of this. Okay, so you want big pair of brackets around everything. Remember, you want to be in degrees as well. And then, hopefully, fingers crossed, it's all going to work out for you. 32.2 degrees to 1 decimal place. Okay, so you've got one example. Make sure you've gone back over the video, write down the first example for missing sides. You've got another example here for missing angles. What I suggest you do is just practice this skill next. So there's a worksheet attached to class charts. You can have a go at the worksheet. Check your answers. Get in touch if you're not getting anything quite right or you're not sure why before doing anything else. Okay, so at this point, I would pause the video. The answers are coming up next. And here are the answers. So there are 6 questions on the worksheet. They're in this order. Check them, see how you get on. Any errors, anything that you're not sure about, please drop me a picture, drop it via email, and I'll help you out on that. Now, if you feel like you've got this so far, the next question will be a little extension question to try. So what's quite common is for bearings to be linked in with these sorts of skills. So here we've got an AWACS aircraft taking off from RAF Wellington, which is W, on a navigation exercise, 530 miles north at a point P. So again, I would make sure I start drawing these things in. It then turns left and flies to a point Q, 670 miles away. Doesn't tell us what angle or anything, just tells us it does it. And then finally back to base at 520. Find the bearing of Q from P. So what we're being asked to do is to work out the bearing of Q from P. So what you are actually going to do is you're going to draw your north line in, and remember we go clockwise round. We're trying to work out all of this bearing here. Now we don't have any information for this, so what would be useful is to work out this angle and add it up to 180, and that's going to get us our bearing. So I wonder if you've got enough information here to be able to use the cosine rule to find this angle and then add that angle to 180. And say if you want to pause the video at this point and give this one a go, I'll show you the solutions to this in a second. Okay, and so we're finding out the angle, so we're doing cos P. You can do that. You can do cos to the minus 1 of your number and get the angle. So this bit up here is 49.7 degrees. So the angle P, or more technically, if we're using some proper language, the angle QPW is 49.7 degrees. We need to add 180 to it to get our bearing. So the whole bearing is 229.7 degrees. Okay, if you understand this is as tough as these sort of questions are going to get for now. When we start doing more GCSE practice, we'll find more and more complicated questions where we have to use the sine rule, cosine rule, interchangeably to work out problems. But this is when it starts getting up into the real high 8s and 9s. But we'll get there, so don't worry. Okay, so if you've done all this so far and you want to practice the skills, I've set some questions on Dr. Frost Maths. Again, log in, give it a go, see how you get on. If you've done the worksheet and you've gone through the video and you're feeling confident, definitely just log in, give it a couple of questions and see how you get on. Okay, thank you very much, and we will hopefully see you all soon.